All right, here we go. Excuse me. All right. So day 3 of the story, or her story, and let's see. Wow, I don't know what to say. At the very end of yesterday's episode, oh my gosh, um, her and her twin, when they were young, did some wild stuff. And that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Just well, we would probably think it's twisted, but they were. I mean, they had a tough childhood from what I'm gathering. So yeah. Um, I finally caved and I got myself a small Coca-Cola. Of course, um, I've had it for a few hours, so it's mostly just water in there now. But at least it's not water. Kind of got bored of water for a while. Let's see. So I think we learned about the code, the code that they used to use to each other. A code that's used for shit. What's the code? I keep thinking of Braille, but that's not what I'm needing. The type of code where you use dots and dashes for like SOS and whatever. But anyway, they used she and her sibling used the code that they found from a book about that was created by the POWs in Vietnam. So I was like, you know what? Let me go back and try and see if I can try to decipher what they're doing. They're typing, they're tapping, and so yeah. But in order to do that, we're gonna do it together. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up a. Let's bring this up here a little bit. Man, these hiccups, bro, are the worst. Okay, so let's see here. Let's bring this up again, and then we call the tap code. Tap code. What tap code translator? They got one? Message. Tap code. Alright, so there is a tap code here. Okay. So they got to take it from dots and numbers. Oh, not code. There you go. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'll show this also. So that you guys can also see what I'm seeing here. Alright, I'm switch this over so you can see the full display. Bring this up here, bring this here, and you can't see me because this didn't fit my face. Oh, that's okay. We don't need it right now because we're going to do the tab code. What really matters is the tab code here. Alright, so let's look up tab code. Or, excuse me, knock code. Knock. Alright, so let's go with this one. So Hannah knock code. See, that's how you do the knock code here. Actually, I can just use this. I don't need to be typing anything. I just need this to kind of see what I'm doing. Let's do it again. I think I heard L. That. Okay, that's three dots. So 3 dots means we're number 2. We're either K or C or K. Now let's see what she prints after that. Okay, then there's dot, dot. So there's so I'm thinking H. This is the first one. Well, that was a 1 dot. So dot. So that's C. So the first one I believe is either C or K. I thought I heard another 3 there. Maybe 2. There's a lot of background noise right now. I'm gonna have to close the door because Some of this is really faint and I can't hear what she's doing. Maybe turn up the volume a little bit. There, now I can hear better. One, two, three. That says one, two. That's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. K, or excuse me, a T. Well, that was definitely 5 at the end. That seemed like a 3 and a 5 there. So that, I believe the last one was perhaps P. So we have the first C and the last P. Let's bring it out here so I can stop it. Okay, let's see what this is really saying. How do you do this? Example, hello. How do you do hello? Translates to numbers using the square. Alright, so for hello would be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So that would be dot 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 dot. What's difficult is unlike Morse code where it's dot 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 dot, you know, like the dots, the dashes are audibly noticeable, whereas this is just tapping. Makes more sense that they would have to do this if it was, you know, if you're in a prisoner of war situation. You gotta be sneaky. Still from the beginning again. Okay, that was 1, 2, 3. That could also have been a 3 and a 3, which would make it, which would also make it L. So the first word is either CK or L. CK or L. But it seems like she went dot 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 dot, which makes me think it was more like a C, and then the next one would be just 1 again, and then dot dot dot. So it'd be like CC or KK. Okay, so we got, so that was definitely 4. So 4 is, let's see, 4, we have all these here. So 4 is, that sounds like a 4, that sounds like a 4 and a 3. 4 and a 3, that is O. So it could either be CO, KO, or LO. CO, KO, or LO. Let's go back again. And that's the dot, dot. Could have just been nonsense. Oh, I just thought of something. She's using obviously different hands. She's using different hands. That makes it more. Okay. There's your structure. How they do it. I was thinking more like, you can't look at what they're doing. You can only hear it. But in this situation, they were there, but you had to do it quietly. And you couldn't use your mouth for speaking, so they would tap, and they would switch their hand to let you know where the next square is, I guess you'd call it. So now that I got that kind of sorted out. Okay, so that was 1, 2, 3. There's that long pause though. So that's pause. But now if I don't think it by the sound, and I think about what the fingers are doing, then it sounds like she either did L or Q. Q being the first word would be, I don't know. L seems more. So yeah, I feel like L's got to be the first one. All right, so let's move this back to here. So that was 5. That's 4. That was 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that was again 3 or 4. She sucks at tapping. That brings me back to L or Q. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I feel like it's LO, and then the last one sounded like a 5. 5 is V. LOV. LOV. It could be LOV. If it's LOV, then what's the rest of it? Love what? Last part's a bitch. Okay, we're getting a lot of 5s in this again. That's definitely 5 at the end. So we're getting a lot of 5s here. Pretty sure I heard a 5 and a 5 again. So with this code, 5 is E or V. Eve. She's saying love Eve. Okay. She's saying love Eve. Dude, I deserve that. Okay. I mean, it really doesn't make a difference, though. It's not like they gave me a real hallelujah moment of who killed who or whatever. But now that's the case, let's do this and see what happens. Let's try Love Eve. Let's see what we get. Love Eve. Ooh, it's waiting. Okay, well that's good though. I mean, I haven't saved this before. Love. I've never typed love anywhere on this before. So the fact that maybe because I have the word Eve, maybe. Let's get rid of Eve on there and just do love. See what happens. Okay, yeah. We got some more though. All right, so we're gonna put a pin on it because I think it's Love Eve is the first one. I think it's Love Eve is the first one. So let's go ahead and bring this back to the game.
Thanks. Please find Simon. I love him so much. No. I mean, everyone loves Simon. He was so nice to everyone. He loves me.
All right, so now this is Eve here.
Cute. You must love them very much. What ages are they?
Who's she talking to? Oh, maybe she's talking to their kids? I don't know.
Cute. You must love them very much. What ages are they?
I would not be showing anybody pictures of my kids if I were a cop.
What did you want? She didn't kill you.
Who's she talking to?
Well, I didn't kill him. I wasn't even there. She didn't kill you. What did you want? She didn't.
And what did your wife do?
What did you want? She didn't kill you. You think I killed Simon because he was having an affair? Well, I didn't kill him. I wasn't even there. I was in Glasgow worrying about whether my baby was still growing inside me. I mean, why would I kill Simon? I loved him.
So we definitely have two people that love Simon. Both of them loved Simon. Yet Simon did. Alright, so this didn't make any sense. So
Thanks. Please find Simon. I love him so much.
okay. Let's continue on then. Let's go and do the what's some code called again? I keep wanting to say because it starts with K. I always think of Konami code. N-O-C-K knock. I switch to knock mode again. Let's go here. Okay, so let's see what this says here, because maybe it can help me.
The tab code is a simple way to encode messages. The messages are sent by translating letters into knock sounds. It was used by prisoners in Vietnam, and is sometimes called knock code or Smitty code. It uses a 5 by 5 square to assign two numbers, row and column, to each letter. Then the sender knocks as many times as each number, and makes pauses between the numbers.
Okay. Alright, let's see what we got here. So, I believe the first one is Love Eve. Because that was definitely Hannah over there. Now I'm looking at Eve. This is Eve. And she uses the code. What's she say?
When we worked together, we'd send secret messages by tapping out a code that we'd learned in the book, the knock code. Something prisoners of war would use. We'd tap them out on radiator pipes or the attic floor.
And she's using both hands again, right? Okay. Okay, so she used two hands again. I'm thinking, it's like I thought before. I think what they're doing is one hand does the full sentence or word. Excuse me. The first hand does the word, then the next hand switches to the other hand and does the taps. And does the letters until you get the full word there. And vice versa. Okay. Alright, so that said, let's bring this back to here. See if we can get this figured out again. Okay.
When we worked together, we'd send secret messages by tapping out.
By the way, we are talking to Eve right now. So it was Hannah who texted, which I didn't get all the letters right, but I got enough, and I think what she said was Love Eve, because the last word was a bunch of fives that she typed. And that's EVE. So, and then the first one was L, and it was either LC or LK. Hard to figure that one out the way she did it. And an O. So I just kind of put the rest of it together, like, okay, well, there was L, CLK, or LO. So, and I was like, what else could it be? Love Eve, because I mean they're twins. So this one
We
might
went
be
together with sense.
this one might be a little harder.
Something prisoners of war would use. We tap them out.
Okay, here's where we're at. Wow, that's a shit ton there. Dot, 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 dot. Dot, 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 dot. And I? Okay, it has dot, dot, dot. So it's dot and then dot, dot. So that's an F. That's an F. That's F and that's phi. F. And then we have a, let's go back. Okay, 5 and 4. 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4. So F in U. F in U. I wonder if she's about to. Is she gonna spell F-U-C-K? Because C and K would be 3 and 3. So that would be dot 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 dot. That would be dot dot dot. No, excuse me. That would be dot 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 dot. And if she does that, then she definitely said fuck. Dot, dot, dot. So dot, dot, dot. Wait, that's dot, 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 dot. That's 5. Okay, there is dot and then the dot again. So we got. Let's go back. Nope, don't want that yet. Says dot 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a lot harder than you think, for me anyway. There's dot, dot, dot. So that's 1, 1, 2. That's 1, 1, 2.
So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. 1, 1, 2. 1, 2. Let's just skip. Let's just go to the next one. Okay, that was 1, 2, 1. 1, 2. So that was a B. Wait, that could have been 3 though. 1, 2, 3. That was 1, 2, 3, the first one. Okay. So that was 1, 2, 3, 1. So that was 1, 2, 3, 1. So that could be C or again with C or K. Okay, so C or K. Man, I'm gonna have to get. I definitely need a pen now. C or K, and then she went back to the other hand. Well, we got a bunch of threes there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, those were definitely ins, couple of ins in a row. That was definitely noticeable. The only Hannah. She said Hannah. There's no other thing I could think of with two ins in the world that she would ever do. So she definitely typed Hannah with her left hand, our right. And there was definitely an A there. So that was a N-N-A. And then what would be, well, if it is Hannah, then it would be dot dot, and then dot dot dot. Or no, it would just be, yeah, dot dot, dot dot dot. If we get that, then I'll know for sure that the last is Hannah. Okay, she's definitely wrote Hannah. I can tell you that right now because I got N-N, N-N-A, and then H. So the last word is Hannah. So now we need to know what the first word is. Maybe she said killed Hannah. Maybe she said love Hannah, goodbye Hannah. I don't think she. So now we have to go back again. Okay, love is dot 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 dot. Let's see what she says. So that is dot 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 dot. Dot, dot, and then it was dot, 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 1, 1, 2. There's a G there. That could be G. Okay, it sounds like G to me. Dot, dot, dot. So that's a G. Okay, that's a G. Sounds like it could be O. Like good. Good Hannah? One, two, three, four, 1, 2, 3, 4? Or is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3? So there's definitely a dot dot there in the end, which means dot dot.
Or the attic floor. Or the attic floor.
Okay, let's think about what I know. What I know is she definitely typed Hannah at the end. What could possibly be, what had definitely heard her type, or tap, was a G. And could be O, but definitely a G was the first one. So if we have Hannah, then we have a G in the beginning, then it could be good Hannah, could be goodbye Hannah, could be alright, so let's try good Hannah. Good Hannah. Hannah. Okay, we already have these. We don't have to worry about that. What about goodbye, Hannah? Good. I mean, I don't think they typed all that out, but it's possible they could have done like, you know how we do text message, where you don't type the whole thing goodbye, you know what I mean? So it could be like that. Okay, there is no goodbye Hannah here. About bye Hannah. Okay, nothing here. How do you say goodbye in leak speak? I know good night is GN. B? Text, speak, goodbye. This fucking dog barking at the neighbor again. Text, goodbye. Abbreviation. Let's look at this again. It's possible it could have been a B. B-Y. Y would be, that would be a 4-4. That would be a 4-4, wouldn't it? Back.
When we weren't together when we sent secret messages, we tap them out on.
Says tap, tap. Yes, tap, tap. That could be a B. That was a 4. That's a 5 and a 4. Okay, I think I was wrong with B in the beginning. That was definitely, or excuse me, with a G. I feel like now she definitely said B. So like by, because I could swear the next one was Y, which means it would be Y, and then it would be another one dot, and then dot 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 dot. So it'd be a 1 and a 5. If that's true, then she wrote by, and she could have just said by Hannah. Yep, there it is. There was 1 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She said by Hannah. She said by Hannah. Okay. By Hannah. Why would she say bye to Hannah? Because she's going to jail? Because she confessed? By Hannah. I'll just say bye. I'll live by Hannah. By Hannah. Okay, nothing there, so let's just try by. Nothing in by. Man, if I didn't know any better, I'd say she definitely typed by Hannah. So I'm going to type that in there, because where is knock code again? There you go. Knock code, go here. Let's type knock code. I know she said by Hannah now. By Hannah. By Hannah. And then she typed love Eve. Love Eve. typed Love Eve. She typed, okay. Okay. All right, so now that I think I know what the code is, let's see if I can crack this thing. I mean, I feel like she did it, but what I want to be absolutely certain is, wait a minute, let's look at the time dates. Why didn't I think of this? Let's look at the time date. Maybe they're, okay, so that's room B, this time, this date here. Let's go here. Okay, different time date. If the time dates were together, then I would know for a fact that they're definitely twins, that they're definitely two people here. But it's not. So again, she could still be what you call delusional or something going on with her, thinking that she could still be mentally ill. I mean, she is, because one of them for sure had killed Simon. We know that. But what I don't know is she really got a real twin, or it's just all in her head? That's what I don't know. Which brings me, maybe I could do this. Maybe I could say, no. Try no and see what happens. Okay, we got some extras here at least. So I wonder if they are twins and they're playing that game where Hannah's husband has no idea that they've been switching back and forth to each other.
No. I mean, yes, we have arguments, but nothing's off. He always comes back. We make up. It's always that way.
See, now, that's supposedly Hannah there, but is it really Hannah? Is it where she's even tricking the cops, seeing that there's just one?
Stupid argument, nothing specific. No one knows how to push buttons better than those who used to.
Eve killed Simon. Of course, it wouldn't be that easy. Eve and Hannah. And I got one more here at least.
Mum and Dad never had any reason to notice. They were always busy. If Hannah was eating a lot, they didn't mind. She didn't put on any weight. That girl has a healthy appetite. If they heard us talking in the attic, they just thought it was Hannah playing one of their games, and that Eve was our imaginary friend. Once, she was already up, dressed and ready to go to school, and I snuck down for a piss. Mum saw me in my underwear, she went mad. Get dressed this instant. So I ducked into our bedroom, and seconds later, out came Hannah, dressed and ready. Mum was amazed.
Which is weird because, I mean, the mom knew she had 2 kids. And she gave one away. So now the real question in this game is, when you feel like you know, I mean, she literally told me what she did. But now what do you do? Is it game over? Like, where do you go at this point? I know she said goodbye, Hannah, because she's going to jail because she killed Simon. Even says right there, alibi.
It happened very quickly. We hardly had to talk to each other. We agreed almost silently. The baby was what mattered. We'd help each other. We cleaned up. We bagged up the broken mirror, her clothes. They were. We took him down to the cellar. We knew we had an alibi. And we wanted the body to be found later. We wanted to have suspicion on us, so we could then disprove it, rather than have it linger. Better to keep the body in the house than risk being seen with it. The watch, that was my touch, to make sure the alibi stuck. He was wearing a shirt. That was a gift from his boss. A long grey duffel coat, like his hair. It's not enough house. I guess you could call it that, but we were both happy to get married. It was a beautiful dance to come back and stay. I chose it. I chose it. It was genuinely our first dance. We'd never danced together before. It was probably awful to watch, but I enjoyed it for that moment.
So, Hannah, she went against her sister as far as them. They had they used to do these games where one would trick their boyfriend into thinking the other is really her or whatever. So they were doing it again with Simon, but she was like, "Oh, I love Simon," and so what she did was against their wishes, which is normally like they had a thing where they said, "Okay, neither of us are allowed to have sex on the first date at all." That was like their thing. That we don't do that. Well, Hannah did it, and whatever was, she got pregnant because of it from Simon. Simon feels like, oh, we should get married, so they got married, and Eve is kind of pissed about that, of course, but Hannah's child dies. Before it was a miscarriage. She had a miscarriage. But then Eve, who I believe, what I believe she did say, she had sex with Simon and got pregnant again and had a baby through Simon. And
for that moment, just the two of us.
let's read this thing and see what we're supposed to really do in this. Who's SB? I think I did SB before and it was nothing. Death caps. Death caps. Okay.
They said it was food poisoning. There was something in the food they ate. My dad liked to pick mushrooms, grow them too. They said it was the mushrooms. It was hard to believe. Death caps. They had a skirt around the cap. My dad taught me that. But the police had no reason to think it was suspicious. They lived alone.
Okay, so Hannah's the one that her father's like a doctor or whatever. He deals with mushrooms. And they died from the mushrooms. But could have been from Hannah. Hannah probably killed her parents.
I was living in the attic. It was a very hard time. I was depressed, was still pretty sick of the STD. And I came down one morning. They were dead. They were in bed and both had been sick. They'd thrown up a lot. And I slept through it. The police said it was a mushroom thing. Dad was a mushroom expert. He used to take us picking with him and he taught us how to recognize them.
Wait, why did she say we again?
This is the way we pick death caps. But the police believe that's what happened. They never even looked in the attic.
So, I thought the whole point was they never found out that the twins knew each other. I still don't know how to beat this game though. Like if I were a cop, I'd be like, okay, we got suspicion. You literally said you killed somebody. Book him, Danny. You know what I mean? Like that'd be it. Like, of course, this is designed to be strictly database, and this was like, oh, this was back in the day, and the person that's observing this right now could be the daughter of Eve. Oh wow, I put dead and we have a whole bunch in here now. Okay.
The goods of the trillium, think it was a flu or something. The neighbour called me and I chased my kid to let them in. We found them dead in their bed. And they've been there for days. so soon after my miscarriage. The worst year of my life. I'd been so happy to get married, and after that, I was just like, fuck.
Oh, there it is again.
It's all that matters, really. The baby. Simon's dead, but the baby, that's how he will live on. Our baby.
So our baby. Well, you mean Eve's baby, because her baby's.
You're reaching here. And I don't know why. No, I've never cheated on anyone. I've never taken anything from anyone.
Which is true.
Simon's dead. But I have my baby to care for. Why are you trying to make me sad? Why are you so obsessed with sex and affairs? Is this your thing?
Is this your thing?
It was supposed to be a secret. Just because Simon is dead doesn't mean I have to give up all his secrets. It doesn't have anything to do with what happened to Simon. No one murdered my husband because he cheated his expenses for a romantic weekend in Oxford.
Wait, what?
It was supposed to be a secret. Just because Simon is dead doesn't mean I have to give up all his secrets. It doesn't have anything to do with what happened to Simon. With what happened to Simon. No one murdered my husband because he cheated his expenses for a romantic...
Why is she calling him husband now? Maybe they both believe that. I don't know, man. I mean, the law says you can only have one wife, especially, I mean, in the UK, you know, like. So, and it's Hannah, but she says husband.
Cheated his expenses for a romantic weekend in Oxford. He cheated his expenses for a romantic weekend in Oxford. This for a romantic weekend in Oxford. My husband because he cheated his expenses for a... No one murdered my husband because he cheated his expenses for a romantic weekend in Oxford.
Because he cheated his expenses. Cheated his expenses for a romantic weekend in Oxford.
Simon.
Doesn't make him.
What happened to Simon? No one murdered my husband because he cheated his expenses for a romantic weekend in Oxford. Rehearsed? You ask me the same question, you'll get the same answer. Is that your evidence? Of course I thought about what happened then. It's all I thought about. My husband is dead.
Type in a word. Okay, now I do this. Using inverted commas. happens when we fill all this up. I'm running out of ideas of this game. I win! You should get something for that. Let's log off and log back in, see what happens. Wish I could like play the whole thing, you know, from beginning to end. Like this clip stuff just kind of sucks. There's the anti-glare, by the way.
Yes, this is it. He made it himself. It's a special one-off. He made it. He decorated it. That's his thing. Where did you find it? Yes, this is it. He made it. This is a nice of them. This is where you take people when it's time to arrest them. This is a nice of them. This is where you take people when it's time to arrest them. up on the street. It was busy, so I parked down the end of the road. I walked up to the house, I knocked on the door, no answer. I took my keys out of my bag, unlocked the door. The main lock was unlocked. I could tell because the key wouldn't turn when I tried to turn it to the left. I walked in. Simon's coat wasn't on the peg. I couldn't see his shoes on the shoe rack. I shouted out for him. I walked straight into the kitchen. He usually sits in there to have a cup of tea and read his paper. He wasn't there. I touched the kettle. It was cold. I looked quickly into the living room. Nothing. I walked upstairs to the bedroom. He wasn't there. I didn't search for him because it was pretty clear he wasn't there. Then I had a shower. Whilst I was in the shower, the phone rang. I think it was Eric, his boss. I didn't answer it. Then I came out and I was just exhausted. So I lay down on the bed and I fell asleep, but I didn't mean to. I woke up a couple of hours later and I was surprised to see no one in the bed next to me. And then I remembered where I was and what had happened. That's when Eric called again. I spoke to him. Then I called Simon's parents. And then I decided to come and see you.
Your parents. I think I did parents already, but yeah, I did parents already.
Okay. I parked up on the street. It was busy, so I had to park down the end of the road. Walked up, knocked on the door, no answer. I took my keys out of my bag and unlocked the door. The main lock was unlocked. You can tell because the key doesn't turn when you try to turn it to the left. I walked in. Simon's coat wasn't on the peg. I couldn't see his shoes in the shoe rack. I shouted out. I walked straight into the kitchen because he usually sits in there to have a cup of tea and read his paper, but he wasn't there. I touched the kettle. It was cold. I looked quickly in the living room. Nothing. So I walked upstairs to the bedroom and he wasn't there. I didn't search for him because it was pretty clear he wasn't there. Exhausted next to me. And then I remembered where I was and what had happened.
Alright, so like, once you get this far, then what do? Like, what did you say, chit chat? What's that do? Oh, look at this! Bing bing, I didn't know you could click on that. How's it doing? How's it going down there? You done? Yes. Yes. You understand why your mother did? See, now we know. I told you that's her. She's an adult and she's grown up now. Good. So you know, you think you understand why your mother did what she did. How I feel. Typing. Oh, there's only limited you can write. Can you type no and you can type yes, that's about it. Just type all the... So why, you can press that. I'm hitting all the buttons here. So basically it's yes and no and that's all you get. Yes and no. Why your mother did this, did what she did. killed my mom, killed my father. Do you understand? No, I don't understand why she did it. There's Sarah. Okay, understandable, Sarah. That's understandable, Sarah. So my child. I'm the child, and my name is Sarah. Okay, you can always come back again. I'll be outside. Log off and meet me. Okay, so I guess now we're gonna go somewhere. That's understandable, Sarah. You can always come back here. I'll be outside. Log off and meet me over the road. Okay. Okay, I can't type anything now. Now it's locked up. I can't type anything now. He hung up, so. Okay, that's the end of it. I beat the game, supposedly. So, like, the mother was Eve. We don't know exactly why she decided to kill Simon, but it seemed like they both were in on it. But Simon did not like being tricked. They probably had an altercation. But nonetheless, she in jail. Which is why she typed, "Goodbye, Hannah." So, she typed "Goodbye, Hannah" using that tap code, because that's her way of saying, "Goodbye, Hannah, I'm going to jail because I killed your husband who had my baby." So I'm going to wait this to the end and see what happens. So let's see here. This was about 5.5 hours total. 5.5 hours total of me kind of course with little breaks here and there. 5.5 hours of doing the research on here to decide what happened. You can always try admin random. Let's do admin random and see what happens. Admin random. Admin underscore. Oh, of course. Admin underscore random. Random. Lucky tip. I already knew this. They gave me bad shit. I already know this.
Simon isn't the type to run off or do anything crazy.
I see Mr. Ron on his tower,
Someone
yeah.
must have done something to him, or there must have been some kind of accident.
Hi, here's a new one.
Okay. I'll try my best to remember.
Dumb. So admin random doesn't show a thing. You have to literally type it full. Admin underscore random. Oh, now we got something new here.
No, I'm okay. Fuck.
I mean, it really doesn't matter. Point is, we beat the game. So now let's go and Google up some her story on YouTube and see what their conclusions were. My conclusions are, is what I believed happened. For the longest part, I thought she didn't have a twin, but I'm guessing there was a twin. For the longest time, I thought there was no twin. I thought she had, like she was crazy. But I guess there was a twin, or is a twin, and they used to share their boyfriends, but the boyfriend would not know that that was happening. And so they did that for years until Simon came about, and Hannah really loved Simon, and wanted to get him married. Got him married pretty quickly, and they got married. She had a baby. Of course, the baby passed away while in utero. And but during that time, they did mess around without telling Simon that they're both twins, both different people. But then Simon found out. By that point, Eve got pregnant by Simon. Simon found out because Eve told him, "Hey, you know what? Listen, I'm a twin." And he's like, "You're joshing me. This is BS. I cannot believe you. I don't believe what you're saying." He's like, "Well, I'm pregnant. This and that. Here's what's going on." He got pissed. Now we don't know what happened after that. All we know is that Eve did say that Simon was dead, and he was and that she put Simon in the cellar, and then Eve and Hannah, they corroborated, because the twin, Hannah was like didn't want her twin to go to jail, whatever. They love each other, whatever. But nonetheless, they did this story or whatever. Tried to figure out a way to say, oh, we don't know where Simon is. So they did a wild goose chase to the cops. The whole time, Simon is rotting in a cellar for almost 3 weeks. I mean, you know how foul that gets, right? You know how I mean, like, that would stink big time. So, but they end up ditching Simon. They don't really say how long they kept the cellar there, but I believe they did find Simon in the cellar or whatever. Oh no, they did find it in the cellar because Eve called the police and said, "Yo, hey, Simon's. I found Simon. He's dead. He's here." You know, it's just, yeah. Anyway, so now let's go and see what other people could have mentioned on here. Let's go to display. First, YouTube. So I did beat the game. So now spoilers are going to be happening. Keep that in mind. Let's switch to switch account. There we go. This was funny, by the way. Okay. Her story. Explained. Yeah, theater mode, that's what we want. Okay, here we go. How long is this? Don't watch until you have finished the game. Well, we've finished it today, so we can watch it now. Let's see what they come up with.
Her Story is a fascinating game about piecing together the story of Hannah Smith as she gives interview testimony on 7 different occasions. As you pull clips from a computerized filing system by searching for words spoken in that video, you'll unravel the truth and understand what happened and why. But the game is open-ended and, in a way, open to interpretation. There's no quiz at the end, no video clip that explains everything, no final cutscene, so you're left to puzzle out exactly what happened on your lonesome.
Well, that's kind of cool. So you could still say that there was never a twin to begin with. That it could be a figment of her imagination. That she's delusional. She made it up. Because she mentioned about how when she was a baby that she was told that Eve strangled Hannah with her umbilical cord while she was going through birth or whatever.
If the game left you confused, let us explain what happened. And as we said at the top, this will spoil the game, so this is your last warning to leave the video before you ruin this brilliant indie game for yourself. Okay, go on? Good. Right. Hannah Smith killed her husband, Simon Smith. That much, I think anyone could have predicted. What you were probably surprised to learn is that you're not just watching Hannah give testimony, but also a woman who looks exactly like her, called Eve. We think that on June 18th, Eve is being interviewed, but pretending to be Hannah. Then on June 25th, it's Hannah, and on June 27th, Eve is back, again pretending to be Hannah. We think this because we will later learn that Hannah receives a bruise on her face in a fight before any of the interviews take place, but she only has it during the second interview. In the third, it's gone, and Eve touches the wrong side of her face.
I have a really fast metabolism, so stuff like that just comes and goes.
Yeah. So That's the other reason why I remember seeing that in number 2 was yesterday I mentioned maybe it was day 1 about the bruise, and I was like, wait, where's the bruise at? You know.
Nice.
The woman in the third clip also has morning sickness, and we'll soon find out that Eve is the one who is pregnant. On the 30th of June, Hannah is back. We know this because she has no tattoo on her arm, like Eve does in the next session on July 1st. It's hard to tell who is there for the short interview that takes place on July 2nd, but on July 3rd, it's definitely Eve. She fails a lie detector test about her name.
Yes, my name is Hannah Smith. My name? That was the only question I failed. The lie detector works.
And then fesses up. This interview with Eve in the white shirt is the source of most of the truth about her story, though I guess the caveat is that we don't get Hannah's side of the story on any of this, so we just have to trust what Eve is saying. With that being said, let's go through everything from the girl's birth to this testimony in a whirlwind tour of Hannah and Eve's life. This is her story. First of all, the girls are indeed twins.
When Hannah was born, I was born at the same time.
Yeah, and that's where I discovered that's when I was like, okay, now, because at first I was, for a while, I think for the full first episode that I made here, the first stream, I was like, you know what, I think she's delusional, but then I slowly went to 50-50, but then I went to like, I'd say 80% that she's a twin. And I kind of stayed with that. Like, you know, maybe there's always some little trick at the very end or whatever. But yeah.
The midwife was there to help. I'd been throttled by the cord, probably wrapped around my neck by Hannah. The midwife
Oh, Hannah.
told my mother
Hannah
I
did
was
it.
dead.
But a midwife called Florence split them up, took Eve in and raised her as her own daughter. Eventually, Hannah and Eve meet.
We must have seen each other before, but there was this instant when we first realised it wasn't a reflection. The reflection was staring back.
But when Florence dies, Eve goes to Hannah's house and lives in Hannah's attic. Throughout their childhood and teenage years, the two girls would swap places. They embrace each other's unique strengths and keep a diary to stay on the same page.
If one of us got hurt, the other one would have to be hurt too. A grazed knee, a bruise. When I lost my tooth first, we had to put on Hannah's to match.
They also shared boys, but when Hannah meets Simon, she decides she won't share this man with her twin sister.
Hannah insisted I not pretend to be her around Simon, let alone sleep with him. I didn't share him like the others. The rules had changed.
And things get especially complicated when Hannah gets pregnant and moves out of her family house and into Simon's. Eve tries, but she can't get pregnant to match, and she's stuck in the attic of Hannah's parents' house. But then Hannah loses the baby, and doctors say this made her infertile.
I was infertile. Thought I was. They told me I was infertile after the miscarriage because of complications.
That same year, in 1984, Hannah's parents die, and Simon and Hannah move into the parents' home. But Eve moves out.
Got a small bed set. Got my tattoo to mark the occasion. I was singing in a bar in the evenings.
Then one day, she meets Simon at a show.
He saw me singing one of my shows. Pure chance. Not sure I remember what he was even doing there. Afterwards, I had a drink at the bar and he came over and we got talking. I knew who he was. Obviously I knew who he was. But he didn't know who I was.
Yeah, he didn't know.
He was fascinated by the likeness.
They sleep together and Eve gets pregnant, but she doesn't tell Simon or Hannah.
I had always thought we were infertile. Both of us. I didn't tell him.
On the twins' birthday, the day of the murder, Eve tells Hannah about her baby.
I told her because I thought she would be happy for us both.
but she lies about the father.
I told her it was one of my boyfriends, someone I had met in the bar.
When Simon comes home that day, he gives Hannah a unique mirror as a birthday present.
He made it himself. It was a special one-off. He made it. He decorated it. That's his thing.
Hannah then finally tells Simon about Eve and Eve's pregnancy and says she wants to help her twin sister.
Afterwards, she told Simon about me, told him I was pregnant. She wanted me to move in with them, this sister he didn't know she had.
But
She knew that instant. The look on his face. She
Let's turn this on so we can see captions.
so she kicks him out. Hannah calls up Eve and they fight.
We screamed at each other, argued, cried, we fought. I hit her back, left a bruise. I had my wig on from performing, she tore it off. Eventually, we grew tired of fighting and I left.
Eve goes to Glasgow in her car.
I was driving badly and I hit a taxi. Not a big crash, just paintwork. He made sure I got to the hospital so they could check me out. It was fine. The hospital must have details when I was looked at.
Which makes her say,
That should eliminate me as a suspect. If I was in Glasgow, can't be in two places at once.
more on that in a moment. Back home, we get this.
Her story is that she'd waited for him to come back. She put on my wig, some of my clothes, pretended to be me.
See, I didn't get that.
He wanted to be with me. Then he took out a present. Another mirror. Just like the one he'd given her earlier. That unique present. She went crazy, smashed the mirror. They argued, screamed. He hit her. So she grabbed a piece of the mirror and just swung it round. She cut his throat clean open.
Yikes. So Eve returns home and finds Simon dead.
I walked in.
Okay, so see now, I didn't get that no matter what I did not get that right there. So from what I've looked at, just from the clips, it made me feel like Eve was the killer, and but we didn't know how it happened. So now we know that Anna actually killed her husband. I mean, he hit her, and she fought back. So she grabbed a glass and swiped at him and got him in the throat. So now we know when she types by Hannah, she knows that Hannah's going to jail. So Hannah's the one goes to jail. But yeah, like I said, this is like databases. This is like the worst database I have ever seen. Yeah, I thought originally delusional originally, but no, she definitely has a twin. But yeah, she now, like, there was one where Hannah was pretty violent, and she almost drowned Eve when they were kids. But I mean, that was ancient history, and they were kids, you know. I mean, like, you know. But again, this database is not the best database ever. Like, they made it look like it's ancient technology, you know, like Like it would, if you were to be able to have the full recording, then you would know within what 20, 30 minutes of like, okay, we know exactly what happened. Because this is something, these are recordings because it was videotape from from the police. So why would they have different clips like that when they don't just? Why couldn't they just have the whole tape? Have that, subpoenaed or whatever, and take the whole tape and watch that. So, anyway, let's move on.
Saw Simon. He was on the floor of the living room.
And Hannah is there, covered in blood. The two hide the body, and then the watch.
The watch. That was my touch.
They set the time to when Eve is in Glasgow to make the alibi stick.
So yeah, that's now I did read that, but that one starts right where she says the watch. Oh yeah, that was my touch. And when I caught that, I was just like, that's where I figured out. Okay, they both were in cahoots with killing. I mean, she's gonna go in jail also. They're both in jail. I mean, she was in cahoots. She didn't tell the police, oh, hey, there's a murder right there. No, she hid the body. I mean, so they're both in jail.
The watch. That was my touch.
They set the time to when Eve is in Glasgow to make the alibi stick. Eve, pretending to be Hannah, then goes to the police, saying Simon is missing. She returns a few days later and says she found the body.
I went cold all over. I went down there with a torch and went straight to the back. And that's when I saw the bin bags. Pulled them open, saw the body.
But things start to get a bit messy when the police find hairs from Eve's wig.
Could the hairs have come from somewhere else?
And then the police, like you do, suspect Hannah of being two people.
Twins? Really?
Finally, Eve confesses all, as you've seen in the clips above. Eve then asks for a lawyer.
I'd like to speak to a lawyer now. Please. You have no murder weapon. You have nothing. And all these stories we've been telling each other. Just that. Stories.
And then we get the final word on Hannah.
My sister is gone. And she's never coming back.
Okay, so she did.
And that's the story, or at least that's what we hear from Eve. Maybe there's more to it. Perhaps Eve and Hannah aren't different after all, and this is just some maniacal plea to get out of jail. Or maybe Eve murdered Simon and is blaming Hannah. That much is up to you to decide. Let us know your theories in the comments below. But thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the game.
So yeah, this thing's designed to real private detective solves? No, this would be cool.
We knew we had an alibi, and we wanted the body to be found later. What are you talking about?
Still trying to figure out the reason why. If it's an affair, if it was some sort of financial issues. We know that Simon liked blondes, so let's try to plug in blonde and see what comes up for that.
I did that.
Could the hairs have come from somewhere else?
Yeah, I did blonde, and that's what I got
We have a lot
too.
of dolls in the attic. There's a Rapunzel doll with long blonde hair. Could they have come from there?
So clearly there must have been some hair maybe found at the scene. And they're talking about dolls, or she's talking about dolls, so she's trying to push it off to something else.
This other person doesn't exist. I don't know what the blonde wig is, but it could be anything. Have you looked at the cat flap?
Cat flap, blonde wig.
Oh, I didn't do
Let's put it
cat
in
flap.
wig.
A wig? You mean, but what type of wig?
How about a blonde one?
No, I've never worn a wig. What kind of wig? No. The parents decided there would be a wedding. And after the wedding, Hannah moved in with his parents.
Let's go to the end.
But my thing is this, why lie about something so obvious, right? So she must have really believed that her name was, Eve or Hannah or whatever she was given at the time, clearly Eve. Well, I could definitely see where folks may try to make a case that there could be twins. The reason why I don't personally feel that way is, again, why would one sister be living in the attic and another sister be living in the room? And then just looking at the evidence.
That's what I was telling that guy in day one.
Eve really be willing to put so much of herself out for Hannah, knowing that if Hannah did kill this Simon, why would she be willing to go to jail and prison for it? The majority of evidence to me points that there's a split personality situation.
See, now that's what I originally thought.
Hannah and Eve are two minds in one body, crazy love triangle between two personalities that don't want to share. You see the different personalities come out. Eve's the more artistic guitar playing one. You got Hannah, the more conservative, has kind of a way that she wants to live her life. So I believe that the motive for this is jealousy. So number one, you have Hannah and Eve are used to sharing the same guys, but Hannah pretty much puts her stamp down on Simon and says, no, this is my guy. This is who I'm going to be with. This is who I want to have my life with. Then you have also the fact that Eve mentions that she could not get pregnant. Hannah is able to get pregnant, and Hannah is about to have this baby and have this life that Eve wants. And Eve.
See, now there's where the delusional hypothesis goes away, though, because there is a child that's grown up, and you can see the reflection of the screen, and therefore also I mean, it's here or there. Like I said before, like the timestamps on the, if I were an investigator, I would have brought in both twins at the same time. You know what I mean? But here, you don't see that here. You don't see anything that says room A, room B, and then the same timestamps. Or even close. You don't see that. So because of that, that's where it's like, well, do they think that, is it delusional, or is it, the game lets you decide kind of where you want it. And there you go. But yeah, even this guy here who's a private investigator.
She wants to go ahead and try to take a little bit of that for herself. And when she does so, it definitely has disastrous effects. Can you imagine your split personality, your doppelganger of yourself, comes out and calls you and says that they found out that you've been sleeping with their significant other. Hannah goes off and she kills Simon. Hannah and Eve decide to drag Simon down to the cellar and hide him behind some bags. And they wind up his clock, and Hannah decides to take a ride for the road, leaving poor Simon, there in the cellar and waiting to be found. Another thing is, Eve had a tendency to tell more of the truth than herself, right? Eve did not mind spilling the beans. Eve had that weird song about the collarbone and the finger bones and all of this stuff. Hannah was definitely more defensive. Very much like real life, what I'm finding out about this game is that there's no definitive ending, right? There's speculation as to why. In real life, sometimes you don't know why somebody did something.
Exactly. Doesn't make the game kind of good, and this was definitely the best dollar I've spent in recent history for sure. And wow. But anyway, I think that's pretty much it now. This was one hell of a ride. Let's go ahead and end that stream. Thanks for coming by and watching the rest of this. Now that we did finish the game. Thanks, Arch, coming by, and I'll put the VOD available so you guys can watch the last episode, so that you can see the end. Until then, I'll see you all later. The next stream will be more than likely drone related. So that could be could be next, or it could be art. What is it called again on Twitch? Where you get I forgot what it's called. Anyway, it'll be turned back on. That way you can do stuff. Anyway, I'm a little tired and I'm gonna stop. I'll see y'all later. Thank you.